Hello, I'm Ray Plosker. I'm a member of the Building and Grounds Committee for Holy Rosary Cathedral. It was completed in 1917. The cornerstone was dedicated in 1913. You can see that cornerstone here. The architect for the cathedral was Joseph Fortan. Joseph Fortan also designed the cathedral in Gravelburg and oversaw the construction of the legislative buildings in Regina, and stayed on in Regina to complete some very impressive commissions such as Holy Rosary Cathedral. One of our major concerns is accessibility to the cathedral. We have a wonderful, impressive staircase going to the main entrance, but beyond that we have very minimal barrier-free accessibility. With the wheelchair lift that we have currently, you have to ring the bell. Someone will call the elevator down here and open the door for you because there are no automatic openers, and the elevator requires an attendant. It requires an attendant because you have to keep pressing the button in order to raise or lower the lift. The doorways don't have proper hardware that would allow someone who had a physical disability to operate this door and open the door. So these are the only two washrooms that really serve this level of the cathedral. So there's just physically not enough space. None of the meeting rooms that we have in the cathedral right now are accessible. So we want to create meeting rooms that are accessible. We'll bring the elevator down here. Right now we have a deficiency of washrooms in the hall. It doesn't have any barrier-free access in the washroom here. So this washroom is probably luxurious compared to the women's washroom. Yeah, the number of toilets in the washrooms down here does not meet the code. You can see that these toilet compartments are extremely cramped. This is the hall kitchen. From a health and safety point of view, we do have the 3 sinks and the separate hand washing sink and the dishwasher, all of which are very old, and the materials really are not conducive to being able to be cleaned entirely properly. The stove or the cooktop at the back of the kitchen, you can see the hood doesn't cover the entire area of the stove. There needs to be upgrades to meet health and safety standards. As part of the hall renewal, we would also replace the ventilation system, which has become obsolete due to its age. So the fan room that serves the pipe organ upstairs is located in the stairwell, and by code we really shouldn't have any service rooms in the stairs. This aluminum door is one of the exits from the basement. It may have served as an entrance to the hall at one point. It's at a lower elevation than the main grade level, so you come downstairs to get to it from the outside, and you can see some moisture problems on the wall next to it that need to be solved. We've noticed we're getting a little settlement along this side of the cathedral. We do get a lot of water infiltration if we have heavy rains, and we've had floods in the basement a number of times, and they can stretch from the back right to the kitchen. So we do need to address water outside of the building and prevent it from getting into the foundation. You can see here where the moisture is migrated through the foundation walls. We're below grade, and it's usually a sign of no damp proofing on the exterior of the building. You can see on the exposed walls under the stair where that efflorescence has come through. You get that kind of thing happening with the salts from the soil, and therefore it starts deteriorating on the face. The south stair of the cathedral has experienced some movement. It's shifting relative to the rest of the building. We get some pretty severe cracking happening on the exterior of the building as well as on the interior. That makes a lot of air infiltration in this area, and that compounded with the mechanical equipment not working very well makes this area of the cathedral very cold in the winter. In fact, we've had frozen pipes. So on this side of the south side of the church, you can see there's been some movement in the foundation and crack that's developed all the way up the foundation apron and up through the brick. The brick has been peeling off the backup for the brick. So you can see at the top there it's displaced by almost 3 or 4 inches, almost in peril of falling off of the building. Some of the cracks in the bricks or joints in the bricks have been replaced with a Portland cement mortar, which isn't compatible with the original lime mortar that's in the building. One of the conditions we have to address in the cathedral water management, rainwater, is right now it goes into the building. It's a series of pipe work around the perimeter of the building that connects into the sanitary drain system. The city doesn't really like that to happen. These pipes should drain out onto the site and then picked up by a storm drain system. There's no storm drain system on the site, so we have to create one. We have some grading issues along the cathedral here around the foundation that will help with water management, but it needs to be regraded. The parking lot itself has very little drainage slope to it. It's just a flat surface, so we do get ponding in there. If we do put a stormwater management system in, or a storm drain system connected to the municipal drain in the street, we'd have to do some stormwater management just to retain some of that water on site. So that would mean reshaping the parking surface or creating areas in the landscape where we can pond some of that water. We need to provide fire separations between the floor levels, and the floors are constructed out of wood in a large area of the cathedral. Anywhere there's wood, it's combustible material, we should really be protecting those areas from spread of fire. One way of doing that is by installing a fire suppression system, like a sprinkler system. So we would like to do that in the lower areas of the cathedral to prevent any spread of fire to the upper level of the cathedral. Service to the building is quite old and therefore becomes obsolete, becomes difficult to get breakers and parts for the electrical service. So we'd like to see this upgraded with our cathedral renewal. The roof over this area and the O'Neill room on the opposite side of the altar is an old roof. It's been repaired in a number of places, and we've had water infiltration over the washroom, both sides of the altars, over the confessional, and we've done our best to patch the roof, but it needs replacing. We have evidence still of the water damage. This column is probably fared the worst. I recall in one rain, severe rain that we had, water was running down this column. I like to show people this picture. It's a photograph of the cathedral after it was opened I think it was taken around 1917. You can see behind the altar area in the apse there were window openings. Those were closed off at some point in time. You can see the windows that were there, the original windows. They've been blocked in from the inside. We have to deal with those to keep water from getting in between the exterior wall and the interior. You can see some of the differences in this are the lights around the columns, which are no longer there, but were replaced with pot lights and pendant lights. All those lights fixtures in the attic really presents a bit of a maintenance issue, as well as an occupational health and safety issue, and it also contributes to heat buildup in the attic, which can contribute to ice damming. So this is the attic access to the roof over the aisles. In order to change the lights, the pot lights in the ceiling, you have to crawl in there and then climb along the boards on top of the framing to get to the pot lights. It's quite possible that you could be startled by a bat and fall away from the walkway. So we'd like to address the occupational health and safety aspect of having to change the pot lights in the attic. This is the ladder that you need to scale to get up to the hatch that is the bell tower. It's got 1x3s and 1x4s in various state of condition. The window conditions are extremely poor up here. You can see in this tower there is 2 missing windows and a partial missing window and a broken window. So this doorway is the access to the upper attic. You can see how you have to clamber up the arched ceiling, and then down the center of that attic space there's a board walkway that you have to walk on to get to the opposite end of the cathedral to change the lights or any other maintenance up here. We hope you've enjoyed this behind-the-scenes tour of Holy Rosary Cathedral. It shows you some of the areas that are in need of care, repair, and renewal. This beautiful, iconic building in the heart of Regina's Cathedral neighborhood is over 100 years old. It needs attention now to ensure that it will serve our community for the next 100 years.